building in Windenburg, and this is part of a collab with a bunch of simmers on Instagram. This one is called the TS4 Rent Free Collab. It's like the Sims 4 Rent Free collab, and it's hosted by Sims 4 Telestory, who I'm now realizing, his name is Tell a Story. And for like the amount of time that I've known him, like my head like has made the name like Tella Story. Like I don't know. It now when I went to go like click on it, I was just like, "Oh, this makes so much sense now." But it is a collab that was started around the time For Rent was announced, and we kind of like, I guess it was scheduled pretty late so that everyone have enough time to build. So it's April now. For Rent has been out for a long time. I think it came out in like December, right? So I just started my build for it this last couple of weeks. I've been like procrastinating like everything, which is fine because if I start a build too early lately, before a due date, I end up hating it and then I have to redo it. So this one is my second attempt at my like my build for the collab because I'd started another one and I was doing it in Copperdale and I was doing it in like the town center area, which I never really build in. But I had a reference picture for that one and I was like building it and I really liked the reference picture, but I hated my build for it. And I like I used to kind of just push through it and I would build and convince myself that I liked the build. And then I realized that that would like really contribute to me like not feeling that great about my content or my builds in general. And when I got to that point, it was like I was working on the floor plan of it and I was just like, I really don't want to edit an entire video of this build and I don't want to like have to take pictures of it and share it as if like I'm proud of it because I wasn't proud of it. And then I decided to just go into Windenburg, which is this lot right here, and I just started to put shapes down for it. I love this lot. It's a beautiful lot. I love the landscaping around it. I love the ruins in the background. And I also like how small the lot is, so it feels very low pressure for it. And I did very like minimal landscaping for it, which normally I feel like my builds I focus very heavily on landscaping, and this one I kept it very simple. Also, that roof was giving me such like a problem. I was going to leave it so that like the roof was kind of visible when you still did gameplay, but I was like, Megan, that's like so frustrating. Maybe you should try and like figure something out so that if people download this, their experience isn't ruined because a roof is like blocking the view of the apartments. Um, and I wasn't really sure how many apartments I was gonna have in this. I, like, had a general idea that it was gonna be 2 because it's kinda split up. It looks kind of like a townhouse sort of vibe. After I kinda built some of this, I considered turning the upstairs into separate apartments and having the downstairs be apartment, but I thought it was, like, way too small. Like, you couldn't really fit a double bed and a kitchen and a bathroom for 4 tiny apartments. So I made it 2, and I had tried to make the like each interior be a bit different because I once I furnished the first one, which is the one on the left, um I was giving like a plant vibe, like I wanted plants everywhere. I originally wanted like a desk area underneath a window with like a bunch of plants everywhere, sort of like a greenhouse vibe, which I didn't end up doing because the space is so tiny. I also really struggled with picking out windows for this build, which I guess you'll see while I'm doing it. I had to go back after and place more windows in. I just like none of the windows really felt like they like placed well in the build with the shape of the build and also the like wallpaper I picked out because I really liked the stone. I liked having these castle pieces here and there. I think it like looks really like unique, and I think it like gave it like a better vibe than if it was just like two little townhouses without the stone. But the stone really gave me trouble because I really struggle picking out windows for stone builds, and I don't even remember if I put any windows on the areas that have stone, which is like a big portion of the build. And I was like, I wanted this, like these apartments or like the townhouses to have these big, beautiful windows with a lot of natural light, and plants everywhere. And like the stone that I picked out was just like it was not allowing for that. And so I have a lot of very tiny windows. I used the ones from Cottage Living mostly. Um, I did pick out pretty large windows, which one of them ends up being in the kitchen, which I think it looks nice. I just couldn't really put a lot under the window because I think it would have caused like gameplay issues. Like probably wouldn't have been functional if I put a bunch of items over there. And then the other window is by a living room, and that one I like a little bit more. And I went with a more, like, I guess, contemporary interior for this one. Like, the exterior of this build, it, like, looks very medieval, but I didn't go for that sort of interior because I just like wasn't feeling it. And I normally do a lot of like wooden interiors, like using a lot of like dark browns usually. And the person who hosted this collab, Sims for Tell a Story, he always comments on my builds about all of the brown that I use in all of my builds. And when I posted the teaser of this, he was just like, I wonder what colors are being used on the inside of this. And like this time, like I think that he's gonna be surprised because I didn't use a lot of brown on the inside of this build. Um, it has a much lighter color palette. I use a lot of creams and like greens because the one on the left is mostly plants. I kind of rambled for like literally probably 5 minutes when I was introducing the fact that I was going to go over what sort of interior is in each of the townhouses. And then I got like off track somewhere in there. I genuinely don't even remember what I was talking about. But the house on the right of the build, I was really struggling with. And so I decided to make like a gaming sort of room upstairs to start out and like try and create a new personality for the sim that's like I'm imagining living there. So I like feel like the house on the right is for maybe like a college student. Maybe this is like where they're staying as they're going to college, or maybe like I mean like I have a room like similar to the vibe, I guess, and I'm no longer in college, so it could literally just be any like young adult living there who likes gaming and stuff. I didn't even I'm saying it's for a gamer, but the only thing that like screams that is that I used like a pretty yellow floral gaming chair, and I used some of the like neon lights that came in high school years, and that's literally it. Like it's really, it doesn't have a whole lot of personality. And I was like telling myself that's okay. I was like, I don't need to put in more effort into an interior and like making it really detailed if I'm not feeling it. And I really wasn't feeling it. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to give like a basis of a like age group and like a personality and keeping it simple, which I feel like is better for, I guess, like if people are downloading for the gallery, that like it's not like a build isn't completely consumed by like a detailed personality, because then it really limits what kind of sim can live there. And so both of these I feel like are simple enough where it's like anyone could live in these houses if they really wanted to. This one I was going to go with more of, like, a rustic feel. Like, I picked out that table and I love that table, but the rest of the house really doesn't match the table where it was, like, it was going to be a lot of rundown furniture in here. Um, I feel like I was just, like, using a lot of items I don't normally use, like, you could see with those get to work. No, it's dine out. The dine out wall plants in the little, like, containers I put on the walls. I haven't used those in years, and when I placed that down, I felt like I was, like, sent back to, like, 2015 in the summertime, um, building a house, and then I was, like, gonna go out with my friends right after. Like, it was, like, a very specific memory that I had, and I remember I was, like, building a house, and it's, like, ugly house because, back then, I didn't really build with, like, I didn't have my bills didn't have a personality at all. Um, like, I'm sure that if I charged up my old laptop, which probably runs, like, horribly, I would be able to find some of those builds, and they were not good. So, I've definitely improved over time at least, and I don't know, I think the items just in general in the game have improved over time because back in like 2015, it was definitely harder to build because you really didn't have a lot of options. You had like base game, you had get together, get to work, dine out, and like so like those packs also just didn't contain as much items as some of like I feel like the newer packs do now. And also, I really didn't know how to build with Get Together. Like, I love Get Together now. It's like one of my favorite packs. But when I was like first playing The Sims 4, I did not know how to build with those items. They were so unfamiliar to me. And like, I loved Windenburg and I used to like move my Sims in there a lot, but I could not build in that style at all. And now it's my most used pack pretty much next to Cottage Living, of course, which both have like the same sort of like European vibe, I guess. But yeah, this is the living room, and this is like what I was talking about where I was using items I really don't use. Like these couches, I cannot tell you what pack they're from because this is my first time using them. But I felt like they like sat really nicely against that wall. I don't like that there's, like, a divider between the 2 couches. In my head, imagine they're, like, seamless and it's all one cushion across the entire wall, and I feel like that was very, like, comfortable and cozy, and I really liked the vibe of it. And so over here is a bathroom, but now I'm like, did I talk over the entire other upstairs of this build? I need to stop my voiceover because I need to check because I'm a little bit worried about some footage maybe not being in there. False alarm. This is the upstairs of the like apartment or townhouse that I was worried was missing, but it was because just like the angle of the camera made me think it was the other one because the bathroom is pretty much the same in both of these builds. Like the bathroom and the kitchen are practically the same, which I feel like is realistic. And I wanted to make sure I didn't skip over this upstairs because I wanted to point out that the floor plan is a little bit strange. The bathroom's pretty small, and so I had to split up the shower from the other part of the bathroom. And so there's like a closet kind of that I used as a shower room. I don't I've never seen that before, but it kind of had to be done that way. It's the same thing is for the other one too, except that bathroom is a little bit bigger, and I could have fit a shower in there, but was like, all right, I'm gonna do a shower room in the other one too. Keep it consistent. Whoever built this wanted a separate shower space from the bathroom, and so the other house has a bathtub in the main bathroom and then a little shower off to the side. That's just what happened. But this one is a two-bedroom up here because the space allowed for it. I guess it's because I also like cut off some of the bathroom space. Like this room could have been a big bathroom. I could have put a nice bathtub in sort of like the tower area of this build with the stone wall. But I'm happy I made it a bedroom. I don't like, I feel like I usually forget to add more than one bedroom. I was like, all right, this is going to be a cute little bedroom. And I like this bedroom. I feel like it works. I don't know what kind of family lives here or anything. I did make sure that the main bedroom with the double bed was functional. So I like stopped during it and I play tested because the it was in an odd spot. The bed is like putting it in that little wall nook, but Sims can easily get into the bed. I did have to move the dresser like really far into the wall, and I'll have to like check the other household too, which is the one that I'm currently working on in the video. Because that one I also put a dresser, but that bedroom's a little bit bigger than the other one was. And so I have a feeling it should be okay, but you never know with The Sims sometimes. Like I've started to follow the rule that half a tile is all a sim needs, but then I'm like, what is half a tile? Like if it's not exactly on the grid, like is it like specifically and like exactly half a tile, or am I just estimating that it is? But yeah, this then I went up to this like office space, and this is how I was kind of getting a feel for what I wanted this apartment to be decorated like. And so I just have like one of the cute little like tablet looking computers, and I was sorting by yellow. And when I sorted by yellow, I was just like, see, I'm not just using a bunch of wood in this build. I have some color in here. Is this my most colorful builds? Probably, maybe. Um I'm not sure, but I was trying to add more color into this apartment. And so I have a pink chair and like I guess it's a pinkish rug, some greenery, and I thought it would be cute to have a sheep rug in the bathroom. I was like, wow, that looks so fluffy, and I would love to take a bath and like step on the sheep rug. And I'm using the like pastel kit rug for probably the first time too. I went with the green checkered pattern because I was like, all right, this is for someone young, and so I'm gonna like pick out different stuff that I don't normally use. And I didn't really want it to like all make perfect sense. Like I wanted to be like, oh yeah, they collected these items over time, kind of threw it together. Like maybe this dresser and the bed, those were just kind of parts of the like rental, and then they brought in their own like rugs and little decor pieces around. That's like the feel I was going for with it, which is like more realistic. I think this is one of like my more realistic builds than usual. Like normally I focus on a lot of like fantasy elements or like witchy elements in my builds, but this one it feels like it's like an old build, but it's like modern day. And I added more of those neon lights because there was just this big blank wall, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I need to do something with this." And I didn't want to put any furniture there just because I knew that it would create problems with the Sims getting into the bed. And so I just wanted to decorate the wall just like a little bit. And then the downstairs, I end up changing this a little bit. I add a separate living room space and I wall it off. And so when I upload this to the gallery, I'll have two separate uploads, which is something I've been doing recently as like a new thing. And it is uploading one that's like just a shell that has like the floor plan and the wallpaper, and then another one that is the fully furnished house, just so that like if people want to furnish it themselves, they have it, and like they don't have to kind of worry about anything. And it also has less packs that way too. So like the unfurnished, more people are able to probably use it and make it their own. So, which I'm like, I don't know how the gallery works with like if you don't have packs, if they still replace the items with something similar, which I remember they used to, and I remember it being really ugly when they would do that. Um, but yeah, I split these rooms up because I didn't know where to put the TV, and I didn't want the TV so far away from the couch, and I wanted the couch to be in that little like nook area. And so I split it up, and it like gave me Sims 2 vibes, which I really enjoyed because that like TV unit reminds me of the Sims 2 IKEA like TV that I used to use in all of my Sims builds growing up. And yeah, so for some reason, I put that down and I'm like, this is The Sims 2. And like in my head, could like fully feel like this was that game. Even just the floor plan. I don't know why. I feel like in The Sims 2, I used to have way more like closed off areas. And so that's kind of what it felt like to me. Even just that like painting for some reason. I'm just like probably like grasping at straws here. It's like not really The Sims 2 at all, but it made me feel nostalgic, like, anyway. But I didn't put a whole lot more into the downstairs. I added some like shelves with clutter around, like books. I put plates on the top shelf. Um, the kitchen, I also didn't put a whole lot in. I probably go back in and add like the pepper, pickled pepper jars. Oh my god, that was hard to say, but um, I also had put one of those like wheelie cart things down there where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe they use that for their laundry, and they just have to keep it in the dining room because there's not a lot of space in the apartment. And yeah, this is like the last bit of the house. It's just the kitchen. Not a lot, just like little pieces of realistic clutter, I guess. I didn't want to put way too much in. And it is like a very tiny space anyway, which is sad that like the kitchen gets all the natural light and like the rest of the house just doesn't. But I'm going to be getting into the screenshots soon. Haven't taken them yet. So I'm just gonna keep talking until I get there, and then I'll pick it back up when I do take them. And here are the screenshots. See, it's a very lighter color palette than a lot of my builds are, but I like this one too. And this is the second house over here. The other one was the first one. It's just little glimpses into each room of the house. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another speed build early in the week next week if you're watching this the day that I upload. So yeah, thank you. Bye.